A decade living in the shadow of 9/11.
10 years have passed since a perfect blue sky morning turned into the blackest of nights.
A sunny September morning, an echo of a scene so familiar.
Within the sound of silence.
Today, thousands descended upon the World Trade Center to mark a day of mourning and the start of something new.
I'm so proud to be part of this new beginning. Daddy, you will never be forgotten. We love you.
I hope that I can make my father proud.
Today, standing resilient and united.
And America salutes you.
CBS 2 remembers 9/11 10 years later.
And good evening to you. A live look at the World Trade Center site tonight as the twin beams shoot into the night sky.
They do so proudly. This is the 10th year of the Tribute in Lights as we welcome you to a special expanded CBS 2 News at 11. Welcome, everybody. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Christine Johnson. It has been a somber day of remembrance, but also one of hope.
Families arrived at the site where more than 2,700 people died, and they finally saw the promise of a new future. CBS 2's Lou Young is live in Lower Manhattan, just steps from the new memorial. Good evening, Lou.
Good evening. 9 times we've been down here, Maurice, to attend the remembrance ceremonies for the 9/11 attacks, and every year it has always seemed so incomplete. This year that changed. Now, the families of the victims, all of us really, have a permanent place to come, a centerpiece for our sorrow. The September morning begins bright and clear the way it was 10 years ago, but this time the sun shines not on the World Trade Center and people arriving at work, but on the shimmering symbol of our sorrow at their absence, water falling into the places where the towers stood. Those left behind come to the new memorial with photos and expressions of loss and memories.
You will always be my best friend and my hero. I love you with all of my heart, and I couldn't have ever asked for a greater daddy than you.
Christopher Chiafardini.
Alex F. Saccone.
The names of the dead are recited, as is now our annual custom, some of the children too young to have known the parents who died here.
I wish I would have known my dad better. I was only 9 months old when he died. And my mother, Susan P. Conlon. Mom, we love you and miss you so much. We think about you every day, and we know you are looking down on us smiling.
And my father, Sebastian Gorky, who I never met because I was in my mom's belly. I love you, Father. I love you for loving the idea of having me. You gave me the gift of life, and I wish you could be here to enjoy it with me.
This is the first 9/11 ceremony to be held since the death of the terrorist who declared war on America. The current and former president and their wives arrived together, moving first past the cascading water, then pausing before the names etched around the pool perimeters. Facing the crowd through a clear bulletproof screen, one of the men reads from Abraham Lincoln's famous condolence letter to a Civil War mother who lost 5 sons in battle.
I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost.
The other quotes from Scripture.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea.
The sky darkens as the decade moment approaches.
Our first moment of silence.
A bell tolls, marking the moment the first plane hit 10 years ago at 8:46, followed by a moment of silence. There are 3 more pauses over the course of the next 113 minutes, one for the second plane and one for the moment each tower fell. The mourners place flowers and flags throughout the morning and make rubbings of the names. It seems to go on forever because there are so many names, each with its own universe of grief.
And my father, Ramon Suarez. 10 years ago, we made the biggest sacrifice, but with pride and honor. You've touched many lives, and we all miss you dearly.
A decade has now passed since the towers fell. There is a permanent place for us to honor those who died and to tend to this aching wound. A look live at the tribute in light a few blocks south of Ground Zero. Those twin beams that we've seen in years past will burn through the night and will go off at dawn. But this time we will be left with the permanent memorial at Ground Zero, which opens to the public tomorrow, and the new World Trade Center rising above it. We're live tonight in Lower Manhattan, September 11, 2011. Lou Young, CBS 2 News.
Lou, thank you.
Grief, faith, and the need to remember brought 9/11 families to Ground Zero a decade later.
CBS 2's Jay Dow spent the day with a boy who never knew his father and a firefighter who lost his twin brother.
New York City firefighter Zachary Fletcher knew this day would be difficult.
For the past 2 weeks, I've actually been experiencing nightmares.
Fletcher lost his twin brother Andre in the attacks.
He was actually doing an overtime tour. He wasn't supposed to work.
Fire Marshal Andre Fletcher was also one of New York's bravest and a member of Rescue Company Number 5.
How has this been for your mother?
It's been pretty bad.
I'm just hoping that one day I'll be able to overcome this feeling of loss. His body was never recovered, and it's been very difficult for us. But I pray a lot, and that's what has been comforting me all along.
Your faith sustains you.
My faith sustains me. That's what's keeping me alive today, yes.
Faith is also a driving force in the life of Nathan Glazier.
Edmund Glazier.
Edmund Glazier was on board the passenger jet that crashed into the North Tower.
I really have no recollection of what I was doing because I was 4 years old at the time.
Relatives now fill in the blanks about the father Nathan never really knew.
We always tell him that he had a father. It's not like he's growing up with no father. He had a father. He has a father. And he's always watching over us.
He really cared about me, and yeah.
Nathan's hesitation hints at a lingering pain the Fletchers know all too well. We spoke with them after the ceremony.
Time is going to heal, but as mentioned before, I'm never going to forget.
Both the Fletcher and Glazier families are concerned organizers may condense next year's ceremony. So being here this year was not an option, especially if it meant hearing their loved ones' names read aloud for what was possibly the last time. In Lower Manhattan, Jay Dow, CBS 2 News.
Zachary Fletcher is currently stationed with Ladder Company 132 in Brooklyn.
In New Jersey, no community was hit harder on 9/11 than Middletown. 66,000 people live in this Monmouth County town. And tonight, emotional tributes to the 37 men and women who lost their lives.
10 years have passed since September 11th. And although much has changed, much still remains the same.
The years have not dulled the pain for those who lost loved ones in the World Trade Center attacks. For Barbara Minervio, who lost her husband Louis, the hurt just won't go away.
It's a loss that exists every day. It started on September 11, 2001. It continues with the same intensity on September 11, 2011.
A sentiment echoed by Michelle Nimbley, who lost her father, Paul.
It doesn't get easier every year, and, just because it's 10 years doesn't make any difference than it was at, 5. It's just harder every year.
Tonight, they gathered with family, friends, and community for a ceremony of remembrance. The service was held at the Middletown World Trade Center Memorial Garden, right next to the train station where 37 Middletown residents left for work and never returned. The garden is a peaceful, winding pathway lined with granite stones bearing the faces of those lost. All day, people, even those who didn't lose loved ones, came to pay their respects.
This is a really hard day. Our hearts are with them today and every day of their life.
They're all heroes. They had no choice in what they were doing, and just want to respect them.
Respect and honor them so no one forgets. The Memorial Gardens opened to the public on September 11th, 2003. Its construction was made possible largely through donations.
274 residents of Staten Island were killed in the attacks, and one in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. All are remembered at the Postcards Memorial in St. George. This evening, relatives read the names of those lost.
It not only sends a message
that we will never forget the people that were lost, but it sends an even more important message that we are a stronger, deeper, tighter community than we were before this attack.
And those attending were also encouraged to fill out postcards that will be among the items placed in a 9/11 time capsule.
Firefighter Eric Allen, Firefighter Steve Belson, Pamela Boyce.
In Queens tonight, red roses, one for each of the 76 people from the Rockaways who lost their lives in the attacks, were placed at Tribute Park. The crowd stood in silence as members of the FDNY Honor Guard raised the American flag. The ceremony concluded with the unveiling of a 5,300-pound piece of steel from the World Trade Center, a somber reminder of all that was lost on 9/11.
And just steps away from Ground Zero, poignant ceremony inside St. Peter's Church.
Hundreds gathered to honor the Port Authority employees who died that awful day. CBS 2's Ann Mercogliano was there.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars.
Tributes and tears just up the street from where the Twin Towers once stood for the 84 Port Authority employees who died on 9/11. 10 years only means layers of grief for family members like Christopher Lennon.
As time goes on, I thought it would get easier, but as coming up to this day, everything's got a lot harder, and just trying to deal with the pain.
Christopher was just 10 years old when he lost his father, John J. Lennon, a Port Authority police officer.
Never thought I would have to go through something like this in my life, but things happen, and gotta live day to day.
Murica Davila.
As the 84 names of the fallen were read aloud, family members wept silently.
Frank A. DiMartini.
Archbishop Dolan, Cardinal Egan, and other clergy members offered their condolences and prayers.
To witness your heroism and to be inspired by you.
In the days following September 11th, family members came here to St. Peter's to find comfort. And today, 10 years later, they came back to remember.
A person standing here survived and a person standing there was killed.
An emotional day for survivors like Kathy Pavlak. She worked on the 67th floor of Tower 1.
So sad. Still, it doesn't get any easier.
But for Christopher Lennon, sadness over the loss of his dad doesn't take away from his enormous pride. Just ask Christopher what he wants to be, and he'll tell you. A Port Authority police officer.
And in the future, I would like to be, that would be my dream job.
A dream to keep his dad's memory alive. In Lower Manhattan, Ann Mercogliano, CBS 2 News.
Today's ceremony also honored the memories of the 4 Port Authority employees who were killed during the first Trade Center attack back in 1993.
One of the earliest ceremonies of remembrance today came just after sunrise in a part of Long Island that lost hundreds in the attacks. CBS 2's Jennifer McLogan reports from Point Lookout in Nassau County.
From the far reaches of Long Island, victims' families, friends, and neighbors came to the seaside setting of Point Lookout, where they consoled one another and wept. 200 from the town of Hempstead were lost that day, and in a moving sunrise memorial to their bravery, thousands gathered in the sand at the water's edge, where a pedestrian bridge was constructed over a recovered 30-foot tower beam that lifted reflecting pools filled with tossed carnations and messages of love attached to flags.
It's an emotional day. I mean, and this all, brings it back. You remember all the time. This is a very special memorial.
Don Carbone's 2 firefighting brothers were killed at the towers. 19 other Nassau County volunteers rushed into the Trade Center that day and lost their lives. A poignant display of their courage is now unveiled nearby at Nassau's Firefighters Museum. The youngest, Keith Fairbairn, was the only child of Diane and Ken Fairbairn.
I got on my cell phone after several tries, was able to get through to Keith. All Keith said to me was, "Dad, I'm down there." And it's just, I can't talk. I'm just too busy. And my last words was just, "Be safe and I'll see you when you get home."
10 years ago, many Long Islanders stood here trembling. They could see the towers collapsing across the bay. Now together, they move forward with courage, healing, and hope. From Point Lookout, Jennifer McLogan, CBS 2 News.
Our nation's capital is also scarred by the events of 10 years ago. Relatives of the 184 people killed at the Pentagon heard music and tributes in honor of their loved ones. During the ceremony, members of the military laid wreaths for each victim on benches at the Pentagon Memorial. The benches represent each life lost, the 59 passengers and crew aboard American Airlines Flight 77 and the 125 people inside the Pentagon. An American flag drapes the impact points.
It's 10 years, and I just start crying. A parent should not bury a child.
After the ceremony, President and Mrs. Obama paid their respects, the president laying a wreath at the Pentagon Memorial.
The president then visited the field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where United Airlines Flight 93 crashed.
Todd M. Beamer.
The names of 40 people who died were read. They courageously fought the hijackers for control of the plane. A memorial at the site pays tribute to their sacrifice, but family members left behind say that they still battle with unanswered questions.
Why and for what purpose was this battle forced upon the 40 passengers and crew of Flight 93 who were taken from us with such violence that morning?
Families will attend a private service tomorrow when remains of some of the victims will be buried at the site.
America's resilience following the attacks is being hailed tonight.
Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day?
A special concert for hope marked the September 11th anniversary at the Kennedy Center in Washington tonight. President Obama, the First Lady, Vice President Biden, and his wife attended the event. In his remarks, the president said the decade since 9/11 shows that America does not give in to fear or succumb to suspicion and mistrust.
We can never get back the lives that were lost on that day or the Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice in the wars that followed. And yet, today it is worth remembering what has not changed. Our character as a nation has not changed.
The president said the legacy of 9/11 will be that our nation took a painful blow but kept its faith and emerged stronger.
With 9/11 ceremonies over, New York City is not letting its guard down. Sources tell CBS 2 the heightened security remains in place into the work week. CBS 2's Dave Carlin reports now from Times Square.
Whatever it takes to keep everybody safe, that's all that matters.
NYPD checkpoints clustered around Times Square, fanning out across Manhattan. Laundry truck driver Jean-Pierre No, working both days of the weekend, found police not scaling back tonight. In fact, quite the opposite.
Every couple block, I got to get police stopped by the police. But he do his job, he do the best.
Stepped up security remains in place at bridges, tunnels, train stations, and landmarks.
Yes, we were in a taxi, we got pulled over, and they checked the trunk, but who cares? I think it's good.
In addition to checkpoints, bag searches, bomb-sniffing dogs, and what police call the best anti-terror technology in the world. Portable radiation detectors, and the assault response team Archangel with a pair of armored tanks and a special container for any found explosives. Residents and tourists saying they're glad all this did not wrap up with the close of the Ground Zero ceremonies, saying this operation ongoing sends the right message.
Lets them know we're on our toes.
An air marshal on American Airlines Flight 34 from Los Angeles to Kennedy Airport was on his toes, calling for a fighter jet escort after 3 passengers were seen acting suspiciously near the plane's lavatory.
And we had all these officials come on board. After a few minutes, then they told us that we could get off the plane.
Exercising an abundance of caution in this post-9/11 world. When people see something and say something, it's not taken lightly. In Times Square, Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
Fighter jets also shadowed a Frontier Airlines flight from Denver to Detroit today. The plane landed without incident, and 2 passengers were questioned and then released.
And for many of us here at CBS 2, it is hard to believe it's been 10 years since we lost 2 of our colleagues. We'd like to extend a special word to the families of Isaias Rivera and Robert Pattison, who were both lost on 9/11. Isaias was a CBS 2 engineer. He worked at our transmitter inside the One World Trade Center tower. Bob was also a broadcast engineer who worked there. Both men were on the 110th floor at the time of the tragedy. Their friends here at CBS send our heartfelt condolences to the Pattison and Rivera families.
And coming up for you, pausing to remember.
Can we please have a moment of silence for those we lost 10 years ago today?
Athletes, musicians, and victims' families stand side by side in some of the biggest sporting arenas. From coast to coast and to our country's capital, our local teams commemorate the 10th anniversary of 9/11.
Plus, a field of flags, a sight in Westchester so emotional it brought a passing jogger to tears.
And inside the ongoing construction, the Memorial Plaza is opening in just a few hours, but tonight we're taking you to the places that you can't see for at least another year.
Tonight, we are showcasing some of the music that played a huge role during today's ceremony at Ground Zero. This from the cellist Yo-Yo Ma, a quiet yet powerful performance. And you didn't have to be in the city to experience the emotion as we remembered 9/11 today.
Now, CBS 2's Pablo Guzman reports now on how one community in Westchester County paid tribute.
It is a stunning yet quiet display. 2,977 American flags in front of the New Rochelle City Hall. One flag for every life taken. How powerful is it? Look at Yadira Ramos Herbert's face. She timed her morning jog to be here. She did not expect the flood of tears.
I thought the best way to honor this morning was to go out for a run, and I wanted to stop here at around 8:46. I don't have to be in the city or anything to sort of express I think the feeling that a lot of New Yorkers feel.
2 evenings ago, a group of volunteers that included servicemen, neighbors, and Boy Scouts planted the flags. Tyler and Ryan Wimpy were 2 of those Boy Scouts. They say they did it for the families of those taken. How old were you, by the way, 10 years ago?
I was 5 years old.
Really? And I got to ask you this. How old are you now?
11.
11. So you were 1.
Yeah.
And yet you still felt you had to come and do this.
Yes.
Good for you.
It's awe-inspiring. I just can't believe that it just looks amazing. You know, I've lived in New Rochelle the last 30 years, and it made me stop and just think about 9/11.
They stopped to see the flags after going to church. They came out of their homes as word spread to think about 9/11. From New Rochelle, Pablo Guzman, CBS 2 News.
And still others found comfort in houses of worship this anniversary weekend.
CBS 2's Dana Tyler was there for a special morning mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Archbishop Timothy Dolan devoted this Sunday morning mass as a remembrance of the tragic events of 9/11.
Recalling with somberness, recalling with gratitude, and recalling with prayer the events of 10 years ago today.
On September 11, 2001, Edward Cardinal Egan led Mass and recalls the outpouring of those trying to make sense of the unspeakable.
And there were thousands here. They were out on the street as well. And from that day forward, I really felt that the city was at prayer.
Today, Cardinal Egan joined his successor, Archbishop Dolan, offering personal condolences and hope.
The side of light actually triumphed as temptations to despair, fearful panic, revenge, and dread gave way to such things as rescue and recovery and rebuilding.
Outside St. Patrick's, traffic moved normally for a September Sunday, though there were somber signs, a heavier than usual police presence on 5th Avenue, and across the street at Saks, the store windows all in black with the names of those who perished. The 9/11 memorial service here at St. Patrick's Cathedral held special meaning for those attending, many telling us the words of the Archbishop, the setting here in New York on the 10th anniversary, both comforting and empowering.
I was very emotional, and it was great to be there, and I think God's presence is over New York City today.
The feeling of family and the feeling of unity, and hopefully a little bit of the pain is slowly diminishing.
To me, it's a victory of democracy, of the human rights and of individual liberties, and I think we have more to celebrate.
Religion, faith, prayer, reverence has just been phenomenal at this 10th anniversary, so I rejoice in it.
At St. Patrick's Cathedral, Dana Tyler, CBS 2 News.
And now a view of how September 11th is remembered the world over today. In Afghanistan, U.S. troops held a memorial ceremony at Kabul's Bagram Air Base. It commemorated not only the victims of the attacks, but also those killed in wars that followed in Afghanistan and in Iraq. In Singapore, a floating memorial on a pond at the American Embassy. About 300 people lit candles and placed them on the water. At 8:46 p.m. Singapore time, people bowed their heads to remember the exact moment 10 years ago when the first plane struck the World Trade Center. And in France, a replica of the Twin Towers was erected in Paris. The towers are 10 stories tall and were at the center of a ceremony organized by a group called The French Will Never Forget. One tower featured the names of those killed on 9/11. The other carried messages of support received from the public.
From rubble to rising skyscrapers, the transformation at the Trade Center site over the last decade has been nothing short of amazing. Coming up, we take you on an up-close and very high look at this architectural masterpiece.
Also, the controversial decision concerning the Mets and a 9/11 tribute. But first, another amazing musical moment from today's services.
Only close your eyes. You can close your eyes. It's all right. No, I don't know no love songs. I can't sing the blues anymore. Sure, but I can sing this song. You can sing this song. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never share. No one dared disturb the sound of silence.
Another incredible music moment from today. Paul Simon singing The Sounds of Silence. After 9/11, Simon said that he wasn't sure if he would even be able to write another album, but he was here for this 10th anniversary. For family members of 9/11 victims, going back to Ground Zero today was an emotional pilgrimage.
Not only to remember their loved ones, but also to see the remarkable progress from what had been rubble. CBS 2's John Slattery reports.
Family members arrived early to pay tribute. There were 15 family members of police officer Ramon Suarez, who was 45.
It's very hard right now, very difficult right now, and without my family, I won't be able to get through this.
But after the ceremony and after seeing the memorial, there was this reaction.
It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I didn't expect it to be what I saw today, but it's befitting.
Ann McNeil lost her husband, Martin Michelstein.
He actually worked for AIG. He was a visitor to the building that morning. He was at a meeting.
They were all here to pay tribute and to see firsthand what has been built. Barbara Pandolfo lost her 22-year-old daughter, Dominique, and has waited for the memorial.
It took a long time in coming, much too long, but it is beautiful. And I got to read names this morning.
Joseph John Angelini, Jr.
Laura Angeletta. One of the names read, Laura Angeletta, who was 23, worked for Cantor Fitzgerald, her mother on the memorial.
I think it's beautiful. I think they're doing a beautiful job, and they did it very nice.
And after Ann McNeil emerged from the ceremony,
The grounds are beautiful. It's just magnificent to see what they've done, and the tribute of the falling water and the disappearing water is just beautiful. We found Marty's name.
Police officer Thomas Byrne, the 8th of 9 children, lost his younger brother Patrick, a firefighter.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was actually a little overwhelming at first. I had no
idea it was going to be this grand a scale.
For thousands, this was the place to be. But think of the family members who found it far too painful to be here and preferred to stay in the privacy of their own home. At Ground Zero, John Slattery, CBS 2 News.
You can get access to the Memorial Plaza beginning tomorrow.
But other areas are still under construction. CBS 2's Chris Raggi shows us how architectural dreams are coming true.
I come here each 9/11 anniversary trying to visualize the future. But this year, with each ton of cement and steel, architectural dreams are becoming reality.
We are below ground inside Tower 2. What you're looking at here is 16 acres under heavy construction, over 1,000 workers working around the clock. It's no longer Ground Zero or the pit. What you're seeing right behind me here is the very last bit of bedrock being worked on here at the World Trade Center site.
With towers 1, 2, 3, and 4, the World Trade Center is back. Port Authority's Tower 1 will top out at 104 floors and 1,776 feet next year. And it's already dominating Lower Manhattan's skyline.
The target date for the antenna is probably another 6 months past the top of the building.
Field Superintendent Kevin Murphy's crew had a rough winter, braving high winds and snow. On a glorious summer day, he's my guide, and I get to enjoy their progress.
Look at this.
And unbelievably, the end is in sight.
But Kevin, the one thing that I can say, not to make light of this is not for the faint of heart up here. I mean, we're 70-something stories above, and it is an unbelievable view up here, but it's a little scary, and we still got 30 more floors to go.
Look out over the edge of the scaffolding, and you can see the Memorial Plaza that's taken shape far below.
Go on the top.
You feel like you're on a building so tall.
Top of the house, 76.
It casts its shadow over an entire nation and washes away the emotional void of the past 10 years. Diagonally across the World Trade Center site from Tower 1, Larry Silverstein's Tower 4 has already reached 43 floors, on its way up to 72. 9/11 Memorial President Joe Daniels is proud to share the only part of the site open to the public the day after the 10th anniversary. The Memorial Plaza.
The 600 workers that are working on the memorial every day, they don't treat it like a regular job. They'll be able to tell their kids that they built history.
Hundreds of beautiful white oaks stand in remembrance next to a lone pear tree, a survivor of 9/11.
It was found in the rubble a couple days later, 95% destroyed.
9/11 families will be the first to see their loved ones' names next to enormous fountains in the footprints of the fallen towers.
The ladder houses, engine companies they came from are on this memorial, and those that died from those houses are listed next to their house numbers.
The museum, which opens next year, is built around soaring tridents, the last remaining fragments of the Twin Towers.
That section that's recessed from the rest of the wall, that's an original 60-foot section of the slurry wall, which importantly held back the Hudson River in the aftermath of the attacks.
Rescue vehicles of first responders covered for now are painful remains of the past. But on this 10th anniversary, through the museum's windows, stand hopeful and steadfast signs of the future.
And after spending the morning there today and a lot of Friday, the paradoxes are lost on nobody, right? Out of such evil, the inspiration and that sort of chance to go forward, it was so palpable in the air today, right?
And watching the families enter the park for the first time today and taking their time to just take it all in. I watched some sit down on some of the lawn portions of the park, others sat down on the bench, and they looked as though it was in a peaceful moment for them to reflect and to remember. And it's nice that they can gather there and touch the names of their loved ones and have something tangible there to reflect.
The whole idea of the memorial, what a moment. We were witnessing private moments, and
we were.
There are going to be so many more as we go forward. And speaking of which, tonight the tribute in lights is up and proudly in the sky. Lisa's got our forecast tonight, and she's looking at that in the background on the Lower Manhattan skyline tonight.
Absolutely. It is a little bit cloudy out there, but those beams of light, so incredibly beautiful. I don't think anybody is going to have a problem seeing those from miles and miles around. So yeah, it is a good night for that. And we do have to be mindful of a system approaching us, but that tribute in lights, look at it, beautiful blue lights, just gorgeous. Again, I mentioned some clouds, and you can really make that out as you take a look that, yeah, we have a little bit of cloud cover. That was really the case. We started this day with plenty of sunshine, increasing clouds as we headed into the afternoon and evening hours. Right now, we've got some fog and mist. We're at 66 degrees in lower Manhattan, also 66 degrees in Central Park. And as you check out the temperatures, not a whole lot of difference as you look around the area. Everybody pretty much in the 60s across the tri-state area. And that's because we weren't that warm today. In the 70s all the way around, everybody basically in the low 70s today, below what we consider normal. 77 is the average for Central Park, so it is what we consider normal. 6 degrees below that, that's where we fell today, even though our low temperature was a little above what we consider normal. Flood alerts remain in effect until further notice. You can see, again, one of the big problems remains that river flooding as we head into north central New Jersey. So along the Passaic River in particular at Pine Brook, well, it is obviously above flood stage. It is dropping. We are expecting it to be below flood stage as we head into the day late Tuesday, so that's something to look forward to. Same for the Passaic at Little Falls, above flood stage now, expected to be below flood stage late on Tuesday, so we have that to look forward to. We are looking at some wet weather. Here's the good news, though. Even though this rain managed to hold off, we're seeing some strong thunderstorms that fired up in parts of Pennsylvania, but you can see it's dying out as it approaches New Jersey. That's the good news. We do have a trough of low pressure here, so we can't rule out some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms overnight, but again, you can see a lot of this activity is actually decaying as it approaches the area. That's good news. Still looking at Tropical Storm Maria. No threat to land right now. It is moving away from the Caribbean islands, and it is going to take very close to the track that Katia took, which again stays away from us. And this is what you can expect as you move into the overnight hours. Maybe a chance to see a shower, and then as we head throughout the day on Monday, can't rule out some scattered showers, but Tuesday looks to bring us a fantastic day. So be mindful of that, and be mindful of this. If you head out to the beaches tomorrow, very strong rip currents, again, because of that tropical storm. But here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 80 degrees is what we're expecting on Monday as you head back to work or to school, and we do have a slight risk of seeing some showers, so if you want to be on the safe side, bring the umbrella. Maurice, Christine.
Okay. Thank you, Elise.
All right, well, still ahead here tonight. Week 1 of the NFL, highlights from both the Jets and the Giants.
Also, how the sporting world remembered 9/11 10 years later.
The entire country stopping to observe 9/11, including the sports world. Steve Overmeyer here with our CBS 2 WFAN Sports. Steve?
Sure, certainly an emotional day on really from all aspects. The scene was similar across the nation today. Flags were being waved with chants of USA in the places we still congregate as a nation, in stadiums. It's been 10 years, but sports still plays a role in the healing process.
That whole week sort of caused everyone just to really examine what life's all about in a way, and you know, that sports wasn't that important.
But just 10 days after 9/11, the city of New York and the nation needed a lift. It was provided by Mike Piazza.
This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza!
When real life brought pain, sports gave us a sense of normalcy. As it was a decade ago, it still is today. Players for both the Mets and the Cubs joined hands with the families who lost loved ones to line the field. As part of this emotional tribute, the lights were lowered for a moment of silence.
In recognition of the heroism of so many New Yorkers and caring Americans across the country in the wake of these tragic attacks.
In Anaheim, the Yankees wore NYPD and FDNY hats during a pregame ceremony that honored the heroes of that day and after. 3 Navy SEALs were on hand, as well as 3 first responders who made it out.
This is going to be a tough day for our country. There's no doubt about it. But I think sports can help.
At the U.S. Open, Queen Latifah gave us an invigorating rendition of the national anthem that was far from solemn. The Giants flew 18 families to the nation's capital for pregame ceremonies.
Family members from those who lost their lives at the Pentagon and World Trade Center on 9/11.
They were among those holding the field-sized American flag during the national anthem. The sports world nationwide took time to honor those lost. Homage was paid by players, fans, and teams in their own special way. Games are intertwined into the fabric of our history. They give us a sense of community and act as validation that our emotions are not exclusive to us. Every civilization has events that unify. Ours are in sports.
The NFL is also stepping up financially by donating $1 million to the 9/11 charities. Also, game-worn jerseys from today will be auctioned off, and proceeds will also be given to the 9/11 charities. We'll turn our attention to the games themselves when we come back. Rex Ryan's Jets began their Super Bowl crusade tonight. Meanwhile, the Giants were dealing with the wrecks of another team, and it wasn't pretty. Welcome back. Well, Rex Ryan has brought the Jets to the brink of achieving the ultimate goal. The past 2 years have been an entertaining ride, but ultimately there must be a payoff. The question is, will it be this season? Jets opening the 2011 campaign at home against the Cowboys, trailing 10-0 in the first half. Mark Sanchez, play action, Dustin Keller, touchdown. Jets on the board, still trailing 10-7 at the half, though. Now it's 24-10 in the fourth. Sanchez hoisting it up to Plexico Burress, and that's a touchdown. First as a Jet for Plexico Burress. Later in the fourth, Jets trying to come back. Dallas punt, blocked by Joe McKnight, and it's picked up by Isaiah Trufant, a man who was just called up from the practice squad yesterday, and it's a tie ball game. Darrelle Revis interception left the 50-yard field goal for Nick Folk, and there's your game winner, a no-doubter. 27-24 is your final. The Jets pull off the comeback. As for the Giants, defense didn't suffer enough injuries. The lingering neck injury that kept Justin Tuck out of practice sidelined him from the season opener against the Redskins as well. Scoreless game of the first. Who would have guessed it would be Eli Manning using his feet to get the Giants on the board for the first time this year? That scramble makes it 7-0 G-Men. After that, the Giants, or I should say the Redskins, responded to tie it at 7 from the 6-yard line. Matt Bradshaw, a nice little cut inside for the score, puts Big Blue up 14-7. But again, the Skins answer, and at halftime, we're all tied at 14. First series of the second half, a little tip pass, and it's intercepted. Ryan Kerrigan returns it for the Skins' 21-14 lead, and it stayed that way until the fourth quarter when the Giants D makes a play. Jason Pierre-Paul busting through the sack, the fumble on Grossman, and Michael Boley returns this to the 27. The Giants are in business, but 3 plays later, the Giants were settling for 3. That ended up being none. Lawrence Tynes' kick is blocked, and it stays 21-14. Washington turns it around and went on a 14-play drive to put it away. Jabbar Gaffney with the reception there for the touchdown. 28-14 is your final here as the Giants open the season 0-1.
We had, had shots and had opportunities. Just one of those deals where, everything's got to be perfect. You got to be able to convert on third and short, and fourth downs, and key drives in the game. We got a Monday night game coming up, so we'll prepare for that. Go out there, have a great week of practice, and try to get better. And we just got to, you keep working, you prepare, and hopefully next week we have another good, a good week of practice, and we come out and play better than we did today.
Not a baseball, and it's hard to believe the Yankees haven't lost any ground to Boston in their 4-game losing streak. That's because the Red Sox have also been mired in a slump. Finale against the Angels. New York playing catch-up most of the afternoon, down 5-2. That's Curtis Granderson, 2-run home run, his 39th of the season. Robinson Cano also homered earlier in the game. Still down a run to the 7th. Mark Teixeira, high fly to center with 2 on. Peter Bergeron muffs the catch. Brett Gardner's going to score, and then a comedy of errors. A throw to second is wide. Derek Jeter's going to score. The Yankees salvage the series 6-5. Mo gets his 40th save. Boston also loses, so New York now a 3.5-game lead in the division. Cubs and Mets at Citi Field. Now, MLB denied the Mets' request to wear 9/11 first responders caps. That decision was made by MLB VP Joe Torre. Pick this one up in the 8th inning. Mets down 4-3. Justin Turner bounces one off of Jeff Samardzija. Tries to make the play, but the ball goes loose. Angel Pagan scores to tie it at 4, and that is where they stand right now as they play in the 10th inning. Well, we have seen Serena Williams lose her cool at a U.S. Open final before. 2 years ago, she famously lost a match after allegedly telling a line judge she would kill her. Serena has been on her best behavior this year because she hasn't dropped a set until today. A frustrated Serena lost the opening set to Samantha Stosur, and things kind of went bizarre there in the second. Serena shouts before the forehand winner is played. The point was taken away. She cited intentional hindrance. What followed, though, was a lengthy tirade with the chair umpire that bled over to the changeover later in the set when she asked the umpire if she was the one who screwed her over last time. The antics overshadowed what was an impressive performance from Stosur. Serena had no answers for the Aussie, who beat her in straight sets, but she did have to answer to the media.
Do you regret at all what you said to the chair umpire?
I just am really excited to be here, really, and to have gotten so far, and to just get here has been a really great experience for me. So I regret losing, but I think there was nothing I could do today.
The tournament official is reviewing the incident and may slap Williams with a fine or possibly a suspension. She was fined $80,000 the last time, maybe a suspension this time.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
And we do have a programming note for you tonight.
Due to extended play at the U.S. Open, our CBS 2 Race for the Cure special was preempted last night. The special's now been rescheduled to Friday. That's September 16th at 7 p.m. That is going to do it for this special expanded CBS 2 News.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Johnson.
And I'm Maurice Dubois. We leave you tonight with a look back at today's ceremony down at the World Trade Center site.
Oh, say, can you see?
10 years have passed since a perfect blue sky morning turned into the blackest of nights.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear.
And my dad, Michael Batch.
Our courageous son, Wells Remy Crowther, the man in the red bandana.
But we know you're watching over us until we meet again.
And my father, John Tay Nazo. Dad, Mom, Jewel, and I miss you. You are forever in our hearts. Rest in peace.